The interstellar auction house buzzed with excitement, a chaotic symphony of alien languages, flashing lights, and the distant hum of ships hovering outside the glass domes. Kieran Voss stood at the edge of the crowd, trying to stay calm. Despite being an ex-pilot, he had never seen anything like this. Creatures with scales, tentacles, and shimmering wings barged past, shouting numbers and waving strange glowing cards. The scent of ionized metal and exotic spices filled the air, making him feel alive in a way Earth never could. Kieran's eyes, sharp and trained from years of navigating the galaxy, scanned the room. That's when he saw it, sitting in the center of the hall under a transparent force field, untouched for decades. The Starforged. Legends spoke of it in hushed tones across the galaxy. Built centuries ago by a now-extinct human-alien coalition, it was said to be faster than any warship, smarter than any AI, and capable of defending itself against entire fleets. Many thought it lost forever in the void. And now here it was, dusty, scratched, and almost forgotten, yet impossible to ignore. Kieran's heart raced. His fingers itched. He knew immediately he had to have it. "Are you seriously looking at that old hunk of metal?" a voice hissed beside him. It belonged to a tall alien with emerald scales and 4 arms, all holding bid cards. "It's worthless. It's going to be scrapped. Don't waste your credits." Kieran smiled faintly. "Worthless? Maybe. Or maybe they just don't understand it." The alien snorted and walked away, leaving Kieran staring at the Starforged. He could see its hull was worn, panels dented, and some lights flickering weakly, but even like that, it had a presence. Ships in space often had power, yes, but the Starforged seemed alive. Almost waiting, the auctioneer stepped onto the raised platform. A holographic display flashed above the Starforged, showing its schematics, history, and known capabilities. "Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed bidders from across the stars, today we have a rare opportunity," the auctioneer said, his voice echoing through the hall. "The legendary Starforged is available for purchase. A ship of myth thought lost, now within your reach. Be warned, this vessel is not fully tested. Authorities recommend caution. Potential buyers should understand the risks." Risks. Kieran only grinned wider. Humans thrived on risks. It was why they survived, why they built civilizations, and why they explored the stars while others hid behind rules. The auction started. Kieran watched as wealthy aliens raised cards, their numbers glowing brighter than the rest. Hundreds of millions of credits. Entire fleets of ships, but he didn't panic. He had something they didn't: intuition. He could feel the Starforged like a heartbeat pulsing under metal and circuits calling him. When the bidding reached an astronomical number, Kieran whispered to himself, "Time to step in." 10 million credits, he called out, his voice steady. It was low compared to the alien bids, but sharp, confident. The crowd turned to him, some laughing, some confused. 10 million. That was a bargain in this room. The auctioneer raised an eyebrow. "A human dares bid." "Very well, 10 million credits. Do I hear 15? The bids escalated quickly. Kieran's pulse quickened. He wasn't just bidding with money, he was bidding with determination, cunning, and a little bit of luck. Humans were unpredictable, and that unpredictability worked in his favor. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. Every time Kieran raised his bid, someone else countered, an alien trying to show off wealth or power. But Kieran stayed calm. He didn't just see numbers, he saw opportunity. And he understood something none of the aliens did. The Starforged wanted him. Finally, the auctioneer pounded his gavel. "Sold. To the human bidder Kieran Voss for 123 million credits." A cheer erupted, but Kieran hardly noticed. He was already thinking about the next step, boarding the Starforged. Outside the auction house, Kieran walked toward the transport pad where the Starforged was being prepared for transfer. The city below him was alive with neon, ships whizzing past in perfect choreography. Yet all he could focus on was the ship. When he stepped onto the boarding ramp, he almost hesitated. The ship loomed above him, larger than he imagined, its hull scratched and scarred. He reached out, placing his hand on the metal. It was cool, but he could almost feel it hum under his touch. "Hello," he whispered. Nothing. Then a faint light flickered in a panel near the bridge. A soft, mechanical voice spoke, calm but with weight. "Human pilot." Kieran jumped back, eyes wide. "It talks." "Yes, I have waited," the ship said. "Long waited for one capable of understanding." Kieran's mouth went dry. All his life he had repaired ships, piloted them, and even fought in skirmishes, but this was different. The Starforged wasn't just a machine, it was aware, it had purpose, and now it was reaching out to him. He took a deep breath. "I don't know if I can, but I'll try." The ship seemed to respond, lights pulsing rhythmically along the hull. Kieran felt a strange connection, almost like the Starforged was reading his thoughts, gauging his spirit. Suddenly, alarms blared from the auction house. A fleet of sleek black ships appeared in the sky, Galactic Authority emblems glinting in the light. Kieran's stomach sank. They had come to seize the Starforged or destroy it. "They're going to destroy it," the Starforged said. Its voice was calm but firm. "They fear what I represent. Only you can stop them." Kieran swallowed hard. He had faced danger before, but nothing like this. The Starforged wasn't just a ship. It was a legend, and the galaxy wanted it gone. And now, by a twist of fate, or perhaps destiny, he was its guardian. The transport doors opened. Kieran ran toward the Starforged, leaping aboard as the Galactic Authority ships descended. His hands flew over the controls, instincts taking over. He could feel the ship responding to him, almost guiding his movements. The engines roared to life. Dust and debris flew as the Starforged lifted off, rising above the city. Kieran's heart pounded in rhythm with the engines. The Galactic Authority ships formed a blockade trying to stop him, but the Starforged was alive, smarter than any interceptor they had. "Hold on," Kieran muttered. "Let's see what you've got." The Starforged banked sharply, dodging lasers with ease. Kieran marveled at the precision. Every movement felt natural, as if the ship and he were one. For the first time in his life, he felt truly powerful, not because of his skill alone, but because he had a partner, an intelligent, legendary partner. As they broke through the blockade, the Starforged spoke again. "They will not give up easily. Many will come for me. But with you, I can survive." Kieran nodded, determination blazing in his eyes. "Then we survive together. No one destroys you, not today." The city below grew smaller as they jumped into the upper atmosphere. Kieran looked at the stars ahead and felt something he hadn't felt in years: hope. The Starforged was more than a ship. It was a promise. A promise that humans could rise above the odds, that courage and ingenuity could change fate. And somewhere deep inside, Kieran knew this was only the beginning. The Starforged glided through the void, its massive hull reflecting distant starlight like a living jewel. Kieran Voss sat in the cockpit, his hands still trembling from the escape. His mind raced, replaying every moment of the auction, every alien glare, every beat of fear and excitement. This was more than luck, it was destiny. The ship's AI, whose voice was calm and measured, filled the cabin. "Human pilot, you have proven courage," it said. "But courage alone is insufficient. I require understanding, precision, and intuition. Can you offer these?" Kieran chuckled softly, the tension in his shoulders easing. "I've flown my whole life. I know how to adapt." A soft chime responded and the ship's lights pulsed in rhythm. Kieran realized the Starforged wasn't just talking, it was observing him, learning, testing him. He studied the controls. They were unlike any ship he had ever seen. Holographic panels floated in the air. Wires and conduits pulsed with a life of their own, and strange alien symbols glowed faintly on the consoles. It was overwhelming, but Kieran's training kicked in. Years of piloting scavenged ships and repairing broken systems gave him confidence. He had a mind built for problem-solving, and humans thrived on the unknown. He reached out and touched a glowing panel. Instantly, a holographic map of the galaxy appeared, stars and systems lighting up as if the Starforged were alive. "You are connected," the ship said. "I sense your mind. Your understanding is different from previous pilots. They tried logic and force. You use creativity." Kieran raised an eyebrow. "Creativity? You're praising me for thinking like a human." "Yes," the ship replied. "Humans are unpredictable. You see paths where others see walls. This is why I waited." A shiver ran down Kieran's spine. He had known humanity had potential, but hearing it from a legendary ship made it real. And yet the danger was far from over. "Listen," the Starforged continued. "The Galactic Authority knows I exist. They will not stop until I am destroyed. Their fleets are nearby. They fear me. You must learn to control me quickly." Kieran's jaw tightened. "Then we learn fast." The ship pulsed again, lights flickering across the cockpit. Panels shifted, almost like the Starforged was rearranging itself around him. A holographic arm appeared, offering tools, maps, and schematics. Kieran reached out, trying to make sense of it all. As he studied the ship, he noticed something unusual. A compartment near the engine bay was locked, but not with a regular key. It required mental synchronization. The Starforged pulsed in response to his thoughts, as if it could sense his intention. "Try to open it," the AI instructed. Kieran focused, imagining the compartment sliding open. Slowly, hesitantly, the panel moved. Behind it lay a small console with ancient symbols and buttons he had never seen. As he pressed one, a soft light filled the area, and a low hum resonated through the ship. "You have activated my core systems," the Starforged said. "This is my memory, my knowledge, my history. You may access it if you prove worthy." Kieran stared at the interface. His heart raced. He had never been offered such power. This ship was legendary, yes, but it was also alive with intelligence and secrets, and now it was entrusting him with everything. "Where do we start?" he asked. "Training," the ship said simply. "You must understand my capabilities. Only then can we face those who seek to destroy me." For hours, Kieran worked, learning to control the Starforged. The ship responded to his thoughts, his hand movements, and even his emotions. It could predict enemy movements, reroute power to weapons or shields, and manipulate gravity fields for advanced maneuvers. Kieran realized that he wasn't piloting it in the traditional sense, he was partnering with it. As he adjusted to the controls, a soft vibration ran through the floor. Kieran looked at the holographic display. "External signals," the Starforged said. "Enemy ships are closing in. You will face them soon. Prepare yourself." Kieran's pulse quickened. He had expected danger, but the reality was different. Looking through the viewport, he could see sleek black ships approaching, their weapons charging. The Galactic Authority didn't just want to stop him, they wanted to destroy the Starforged completely. "Can we outrun them?" Kieran asked. The Starforged's lights pulsed. "Not with speed alone. We must outthink them. Humans excel at this. Your creativity is our advantage." Kieran grinned, a spark of excitement lighting his eyes. This was what he lived for, the impossible, the dangerous, the unknown. And humans thrived in such moments. He initiated a series of maneuvers that no alien pilot could anticipate. The Starforged twisted and banked, using gravitational pulls from nearby asteroids to slingshot into sudden positions. Lasers fired past them harmlessly as they dodged with precision. Kieran felt the ship guiding him, almost intuitively. It was exhilarating. "You are quick to adapt," the Starforged said. "Your instincts are strong. Continue." Hours passed as they navigated through asteroid belts and debris fields, avoiding patrols and calculating paths no AI alone could predict. Kieran's mind worked like a machine, but with a human edge. He combined logic, intuition, and instinct, something the aliens couldn't match. Finally, they reached a remote system, a hidden nebula where the Starforged could rest and recover. The ship's lights dimmed slightly, indicating it was entering a low-power state. Kieran leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. You did well, the Starforged said. Few could survive that. Fewer still could thrive. Kieran smiled, running a hand through his hair. This is just the beginning, isn't it? Yes, the Starforged replied. Many will come for me. You must grow stronger, learn faster, and trust yourself. Humans are remarkable. I see now why I waited. For the first time, Kieran felt a sense of true partnership with a ship. Not just a machine, but a being with intelligence, purpose, and understanding. The Starforged was legendary, yes, but it was also alive, and it had chosen him. As they drifted in the nebula, Kieran accessed the Starforged's historical records. He learned of battles fought centuries ago, of alien alliances, and of the ship's unique systems. Weapons that could disable fleets without destroying them, engines capable of near-instantaneous jumps, and shields that could bend light itself. Kieran realized the potential he held, not just to survive, but to change the balance of power in the galaxy. But danger was never far. Sensors picked up a probe entering the nebula, scanning for life signs and ship signatures. Kieran froze. The Galactic Authority had found them. They know where we are, he said. They will not succeed, the Starforged replied. We are human and machine together. We are unpredictable. That is our strength. Kieran's mind raced. He devised a plan, using the nebula's gas clouds and magnetic fields to hide the ship. He manipulated the Starforged sensors to create false readings, making them appear as multiple smaller vessels. The probe passed by, scanning and scanning, but detecting nothing unusual. You see, the Starforged said, creativity and courage. You are human. Kieran laughed softly, a mix of relief and pride. He knew this was only a small victory. The Galactic Authority would not give up. Others would come. But for now, they had survived. And in surviving, Kieran had learned something profound. Humans were more than just species. They were adaptable, clever, and brave in ways the galaxy did not yet understand. As the Starforged powered down slightly, preparing for rest, Kieran gazed out at the stars. He thought of Earth, of humanity, and of the countless adventures that awaited. This was not just a ship or a mission. This was proof that humans could rise to legends, even in a galaxy that often underestimated them. And somewhere deep in the circuits of the Starforged, a quiet pulse echoed, anticipation, trust, and a promise of greatness. Kieran Voss and the Starforged were only beginning. The Starforged glided silently through the black void of space, its massive hull gleaming faintly under distant starlight. Kieran Voss sat at the helm, hands tight on the controls, his mind sharp and alert. The nebula behind them hid their presence temporarily, but it was only a matter of time before the Galactic Authority discovered their location again. They will not give up easily, the Starforged said, its calm, measured voice echoing in the cockpit. Their fleets are vast, their technology advanced. They have hunted ships like me before. They believe they can destroy me. Kieran's jaw tightened. They've never faced something like us. They don't understand humans or how we think. The Starforged pulsed softly, almost approvingly. You are correct. Your creativity and courage are unmatched. Use them wisely. Kieran exhaled slowly. He had learned much in the past hours. How the ship responded to his thoughts, how it could anticipate enemy movements, and most importantly, how it could amplify his instincts. But this would be the first real test. The Galactic Authority had sent a fleet larger than anything he had seen in his career, sleek black warships bristling with weapons, capable of outmaneuvering entire planetary defenses. And now, they were hunting him. Sensors detect 3 cruisers ahead, the Starforged said. They have intercepted the signals from our previous location. Their intent is to capture or destroy me. Your actions will determine the outcome. Kieran nodded, his mind racing. He had no choice but to act fast. He engaged the Starforged's engines, feeling the hum of power beneath him. The ship was alive, almost anticipating his moves. Its AI guided him subtly, nudging controls and suggesting maneuvers while letting him retain full control. It was unlike any machine he had ever piloted. The first cruiser appeared on the holographic display, moving in perfect formation with the others. Kieran realized quickly that a direct fight would be suicidal. He needed strategy, deception, and the kind of creativity humans were famous for. "Let's give them a taste of human unpredictability," he muttered. The Starforge's shields shimmered as he activated a series of maneuvers. Using the gravity wells of nearby asteroid fields, Kieran twisted the ship in sharp arcs, confusing the enemy sensors. The cruisers fired, but their targeting was delayed, unable to predict the sudden shifts in position. Lasers zipped past, harmlessly striking empty space. "Impressive," the Starforge said. "Your instincts are correct. Continue." Kieran smirked. "It's all part of the plan." He directed the Starforge toward a dense cluster of asteroids, weaving in and out of massive rocks. The cruisers followed, but their size and rigidity made them slow. Kieran took full advantage, sliding the Starforge through narrow gaps and looping behind rocks to launch small counterattacks. The Starforge's weapons were unique, plasma pulses that could disable systems without destroying the entire ship. One by one, the cruiser's shields flickered and failed. "You see," the Starforge said, "you combine instinct and strategy. No alien pilot could anticipate these moves." Kieran's grin widened. Humans were adaptable. While aliens relied on rigid patterns, humans could improvise. And in that improvisation lay power. Suddenly, one of the cruisers launched a missile directly at them. Kieran's reflexes kicked in. The Starforge twisted violently, narrowly avoiding the explosion. But the shockwave rocked the cockpit, sending a jolt through his body. "Enemy weapons are more powerful than anticipated," the Starforge said. "They have learned from our previous maneuvers. Adapt quickly." Kieran's mind raced. He needed a new approach. He remembered an old tactic from his piloting days, a risky maneuver that no one dared attempt in deep space. A sudden jump through a nearby black hole's gravity well. It was dangerous, but humans thrived on risk. "Hold on," he muttered. "We're going in." The Starforged hummed, almost in excitement, as Kieran guided the ship toward the gravity well. The black hole loomed ahead, a swirling mass of darkness and energy. The enemy cruisers hesitated, their sensors unable to calculate the trajectory quickly. Kieran pushed the Starforge to the limits, feeling the strain as gravitational forces pulled at the hull. Lights flickered, alarms blared, but he held steady. With a sudden burst of speed, the Starforge slingshot around the black hole, using its gravity to gain momentum. The cruisers, unable to match the maneuver, were left behind, disoriented and vulnerable. Kieran could hear the AI's low hum, almost like laughter. "Humans are remarkable," it said. "I understand now why I waited. You think beyond parameters, beyond calculations. You create new paths." Kieran exhaled, his hands shaking slightly. "We're just getting started." But the victory was short-lived. Sensors picked up a larger fleet approaching, capital ships, faster and stronger than anything Kieran had faced. These weren't just hunters, they were executioners. Their mission was clear: destroy the Starforged at all costs. "They are relentless," the Starforged said. "Many will come and each will be stronger than the last, but together we are formidable." Kieran leaned forward, analyzing the fleet. He realized a direct confrontation was impossible. He needed to divide and conquer, to use the environment to his advantage. The asteroid belt they had just escaped offered possibilities. "Follow my lead," he said, his voice firm. "We'll turn this hunt into a trap." He directed the Starforge toward a dense field of space debris, floating remnants of destroyed ships and planets. The enemy fleet pursued, but Kieran had studied their patterns. Using precise bursts from the Starforge's engines, he created false targets and decoys, sending the cruisers chasing illusions while he slipped through narrow gaps. The capital ships, too large to maneuver effectively, collided with debris, forcing them to slow down. The Starforged responded perfectly to his commands, adjusting shields and energy distribution in real time. Kieran marveled at the ship's adaptability. This wasn't just a vessel, it was alive, reacting and thinking with him as a partner. "Your decisions are inspired," the Starforged said. "Humans possess ingenuity beyond expectation. Together, we can survive anything." Kieran smiled, adrenaline pumping through his veins. He felt alive, more alive than he ever had on Earth. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, but with the Starforged he had the edge. But danger lurked still. A new enemy appeared on the sensors, a massive destroyer-class ship, its weapons capable of obliterating entire fleets. It moved with precision, scanning the area ready to strike. "This one is different," the Starforged said. "Its AI is advanced. You will need more than instinct. You must think creatively." Kieran nodded. He quickly devised a plan. He would use the destroyer's overconfidence against it, drawing it into a narrow canyon formed by two large asteroids. The destroyer, assuming the Starforged would flee, followed. Kieran pushed the ship's systems to the limit, calculating the trajectory and timing down to milliseconds. As the destroyer entered the canyon, Kieran executed a sudden maneuver, flipping the Starforged upside down and firing a concentrated pulse at the destroyer's shields. The energy bounced between the canyon walls, striking multiple points on the destroyer simultaneously. Alarms blared from the enemy ship as it was forced to retreat. "We did it," Kieran whispered, his chest heaving. "Yes," the Starforged said, "but more will come. Each victory strengthens your mind, your creativity, and our bond. You are becoming a legend, human." Kieran allowed himself a small smile. Humans had always been underestimated by the galaxy, fragile, emotional, unpredictable. Yet here he was, outmaneuvering fleets and surviving against impossible odds. The Starforged, a legendary ship, had chosen him for a reason. As they navigated away from the debris field, Kieran realized something profound. This was more than survival. Humans could rise above limits, think beyond expectations, and adapt to any challenge. The Starforged was a symbol of that potential, and he was now its guardian. The stars stretched before him like a canvas waiting to be painted. The Galactic Authority would not rest, and neither could he. But Kieran felt ready. Humans were meant to face impossible odds, and together with the Starforged, they could defy the galaxy. The Starforged pulsed gently, almost as if in agreement. "Prepare yourself, human," it said. "The greatest challenges are ahead, but you are ready. Together, we will change the course of history." Kieran's eyes shone with determination. "Then let's show them what humans can do." As they jumped into faster-than-light travel, leaving the destroyed cruisers behind, Kieran knew one thing: the chase across the stars was only beginning. And humans, unpredictable and brave, would leave their mark on the galaxy in ways no one could imagine. The Starforged cut through the void of space, faster than any ship Kieran Voss had ever piloted. Stars streaked past like rivers of light, yet there was no time to enjoy the view. The Galactic Authority had not given up. Far behind, a massive fleet had regrouped, now stronger, faster, and more relentless than before. "They are coming, human," the Starforged said. Its lights pulsed with a quiet intensity. "This fleet is the culmination of their power. They intend to destroy me and anyone allied with me. We must be vigilant." Kieran's hands gripped the controls tightly. "I know," he said, his voice steady. "We've survived before and will survive again, but we have to think bigger this time. We can't just run, we have to change the fight." The ship's AI hummed softly, almost approvingly. "You are correct. Humans are unpredictable in thought as well as action. We will use that. But it will require courage, creativity, and trust." Kieran leaned back, considering the vast options. He remembered the Starforged's history, ancient battles, legendary defenses, and secret systems lost to time. If they could unlock even a fraction of that power, they could turn the tables. And humans were masters at turning small advantages into decisive victories. He studied the approaching fleet. Capital ships, war cruisers, and advanced fighters filled the holographic displays. They moved in perfect formations, confident and disciplined, their AIs predicting movements with terrifying accuracy. But no AI could anticipate human intuition. "This is it," Kieran muttered. "Time to show them why humans survive." The first wave of attackers arrived, sleek black fighters that dived toward the Starforged with blinding speed. Kieran engaged the ship's shields and weapons, responding to each threat instinctively. Plasma pulses shot out, targeting engines and weapon systems without destroying the ships. His goal was not to kill, it was to disable, to confuse, and to prove that humans could fight smarter. The Starforged responded to every thought, every move. Kieran realized that he was not just piloting, he was a part of the ship. Its AI complemented his instincts, offering calculations and suggestions while allowing him to improvise. Together, they were unstoppable. "Human," the Starforged said, "your methods are unorthodox yet effective. Your enemies cannot predict you. This is why I chose you." Kieran grinned. "And I chose you. Let's finish this." He directed the Starforged through a nearby asteroid belt. The fleet pursued, but Kieran had prepared a trap. Using the Starforged's sensors and his own intuition, he calculated precise positions for gravitational anomalies, asteroid paths, and energy fields. The first wave of enemy fighters collided with asteroids or were caught in energy bursts, their formations shattered. "They are faltering," the Starforged said. "Continue. Your instincts are unmatched." Kieran's hands moved with lightning speed, weaving through obstacles, disabling ships, and creating chaos. Every maneuver was precise, yet unpredictable. The human mind, capable of improvisation and adaptation, proved superior to rigid calculations. The second wave arrived, larger ships with heavy weapons, their goal to overwhelm the Starforged with sheer firepower. Kieran knew he couldn't outgun them. Instead, he had to outthink them. He activated one of the Starforged's hidden systems, the graviton pulse. A wave of energy radiated outward, bending light and gravity. Enemy sensors malfunctioned, creating false readings and making the Starforged appear to split into multiple vessels. Confused and disoriented, the enemy fleet began attacking each other. "This is incredible," Kieran whispered. "They're fighting themselves." The Starforged hummed, almost laughing. "Humans do not rely solely on force. You think, adapt, and innovate. You are extraordinary." Kieran felt a surge of pride, but he knew the greatest challenge was yet to come. A massive capital ship, the flagship of the fleet, appeared on sensors. Its hull was armored with advanced materials, and its weapons could obliterate entire fleets. This was the true test, the final line of the Galactic Authority. Kieran's mind raced. He could not defeat the flagship with brute force. He needed strategy, daring, and a touch of human unpredictability. "Listen carefully," the Starforged said. "The flagship is powerful, but it relies on predictable patterns. You must create an outcome it cannot anticipate. Your creativity is the key." Kieran nodded. He analyzed the battlefield. Using the Starforged's advanced sensors, he detected weak points in the flagship's energy shields, points that could be exploited with precise timing, but reaching them required extreme risk. One wrong move, and both he and the Starforged would be destroyed. Humans thrived on risk. "Here goes nothing," Kieran muttered. He pushed the Starforged to its absolute limits, weaving through enemy fire with breathtaking precision. The ship responded perfectly, adjusting energy flows to reinforce shields, boost weapons, and optimize speed. Kieran fired a concentrated plasma pulse at the flagship's weak points. The pulse ricocheted off the hull and penetrated deep into the ship's core systems. Alarms blared across the enemy fleet. The flagship faltered, its systems failing under the unexpected attack. Kieran's pulse raced with exhilaration. "You did it," the Starforged said. "Their flagship is disabled. The fleet is in disarray. Your instincts, creativity, and courage have turned the tide." Kieran allowed himself a brief smile. Humanity, underestimated and overlooked, had just outsmarted the galaxy's most formidable fleet. But he knew the fight was not over. Others would come. But now they would know humans were not to be underestimated. After the battle, Kieran and the Starforged retreated to a hidden system, a safe haven where they could repair and plan. The Starforged's hull shimmered as energy flowed through its circuits, recovering from the exertion. Kieran leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. "You have done well," the Starforged said. "Galactic Authority fleets will speak of this day for decades. Humans are a force to be reckoned with." Kieran shook his head. "We're just getting started. They'll come again and we'll be ready." The Starforged pulsed almost affectionately. "You are right. Your species has a unique combination of courage, creativity, and determination. That is why I chose you. That is why you will shape the galaxy's future." Kieran looked out at the stars. He thought of Earth, of the countless humans who had dreamed of the stars, who had explored, built, and fought against impossible odds. And he realized something profound. Humanity's potential was limitless. The Starforged hummed gently, as if agreeing. Its sentience, intelligence, and history were now intertwined with his own. Together, they were a legend in the making. Days later, word of the battle spread across galactic networks. Aliens who had once scoffed at humans began to whisper in awe. The tales were clear. A human pilot had outmaneuvered fleets, disabled a legendary flagship, and protected a ship thought untouchable. "Humans are unpredictable," one alien counselor said. "Perhaps we have underestimated them." "Indeed," another replied. "Their creativity and courage exceed our calculations. We must acknowledge their potential." Kieran smiled quietly. He didn't fight for recognition. He fought because it was right. But the galaxy was beginning to see what he already knew. Humans were extraordinary. Back aboard the Starforged, Kieran prepared for their next journey. The ship's AI pulsed with energy, lights flickering in anticipation. "What's next?" Kieran asked. "Next," the Starforged said, "we explore, protect, and challenge the galaxy. Together, we will shape destiny." Others may doubt humans, but they will learn. They will see that courage, ingenuity, and determination can alter the course of history. Kieran nodded. "Then let's show them what humans are capable of." As the Starforged accelerated into the cosmos, Kieran felt a sense of purpose unlike anything before. He was not just a pilot. He was a guardian, a strategist, and a symbol of human potential. The galaxy was vast, filled with dangers, wonders, and mysteries, but with humans anything was possible. And somewhere deep in the circuits and consciousness of the Starforged, a quiet pulse echoed: trust, anticipation, and pride. The human it had chosen was no ordinary being. He was extraordinary. The stars stretched infinitely ahead, a canvas for adventures yet to come. The Galactic Authority would regroup. Fleets would rise and fall. But Kieran Voss, with the Starforged at his side, knew one truth: humanity would never be underestimated again. The galaxy had witnessed the courage of a human, and in doing so it had seen the future. A future shaped by ingenuity, bravery, and the indomitable spirit of humankind. Kieran smiled, hands on the controls, eyes fixed on the distant horizon. "Let's go home, or as close as we can get," he said. The Starforged pulsed, and together they leapt into the unknown, ready for whatever the stars would throw at them next.